Good day everyone. This is Ma'am Neri once again and welcome to our personal development session. For today's video, we shall discuss Module 21, Social Influence. Are you now ready to learn? The module focuses on social influence for you to be able to identify the different roles of leaders and followers in society. After going through this module, you are expected to compare one's perception of himself or herself and how others see him or her. Before we start, let us gauge what you already know. Here is a multiple choice test. Choose the letter of the best answer. Write your chosen letter on a separate sheet of paper. Number 1. It occurs when an individual changes her behavior to adapt to social demands. A. Social influence. B. Social facilitation. C. Social relationship. And D. Personal relationship. 2. It is the change in one's behavior to be more like the others in the group. A. Obedience. B. Conformity. C. Compliance. D. Complement. 3. It is the change in one's behavior by doing a request asked by another individual in exchange for reward or punishment. A. Conformity. B. Compliance. C. Complacent. D. Complement. 4. It is the change in one's behavior by following the demand given by the individuals you respect. A. Objective. B. Obedience. C. Conformity. D. Compliance. 5. It happens to a person in order to perform better at working with others than working alone. A. Social change. B. Social loafing. C. Social influence. D. Social facilitation. 6. Which of the following characterizes a conforming individual? A. Likes reward. B. Gains approval. C. Fears punishment. D. Accepts responsibility. 7. Which of the following is not a characteristic of a conforming individual? A. Gains approval. B. Avoids rejection. C. Accepts opinion. D. Accepts responsibility. 8. Which of the following characterizes a compliant individual? A. Likes reward. B. Accepts opinions. C. Respects authority. D. Accepts responsibility. 9. Which of the following is not a characteristic of a compliant individual? A. Likes reward. B. Follows request. C. Avoids rejection. D. Fears punishment. 10. Which of the following characterizes an obedient individual? A. Accepts opinion. B. Avoids rejection. C. Fears punishment. D. Respects authority. 11. Which of the following is not a characteristic of an obedient individual? A. Follows order. B. Avoids rejection. C. Respects authority. D. Accepts responsibility. 12 to 15. Identify the type of social influence being described in the following situations. Write A for conformity, B for compliance, and C for obedience. 12. Sierra greets her grandmother's friend to show respect. 13. Edward posted on social media positive remarks about his peers. 14. Alicia is motivated to receive a high grade after answering all the test items correctly. 15. Armand joins a group to support advocacy for responsible citizenship. Notes to the teacher. All the activities in this module will be accomplished on a sheet of paper as illustrated below. As a maturing adolescent, you are aware of your strengths and weaknesses, which your thoughts, feelings, and behavior define on how you deal with personal relationships. In the previous module, you were able to distinguish the various roles of different individuals in society. While in this module, it focuses on how social influences improve you as a person for social transformation. Now, let us do the activity. Directions. Write inside the bar graph the names of the most and least influential individuals in your lifetime. On the longer bar, write the names of the most influential person, and on the shorter bar, write the names of the least influential person in your life. Use the second quadrant of your paper, as illustrated above, to present your data. After doing the first activity, let us answer another. Directions. Write constructive positive and negative comments about yourself that you received from other people using the pie graph below. Use the upper portion of the third quadrant of your paper to present your data. Process questions. 1. Does your self-perception and others' perception matter to you? In what way? 2. How do you compare your self-perception to others' perception about you? When you are in your formative years, you have a limited capacity of acknowledging what is happening around you. You are not aware of how other people treated or thought about you. The only important thing to you is that you enjoy playing, spending time with your family, or contentment when your need is met. There were also times when adults always asked you on what you want to be when you grow up. However, as you mature, personal and social relationships broaden your perception about yourself and others. This perception helps in the psychological process of knowing, interpreting, and learning information that influence your behavior. The way you perceive and how others perceived you are driven by beliefs, values, and norms learned and shared among family members, friends, neighbors, and other individuals in the society. When the people you interact with around you start to affect your behavior, the process is already known as social influence. Social influence is characterized by a change in your behavior caused by the people that empower you to adjust to a particular situation. Whether someone agrees or disagrees with you, it influences your behavior that may help or hinder your social roles. Social influence also happens when you change your behavior to adapt to social demands. Social influence is categorized by conformity, compliance, and obedience. There are two basic forms of social influence. 1. Implicit expectations or unspoken rules. Like the unwritten laws of middle school, implicit expectations are enforced by group norms. For example, no one has to tell you that you will likely be expected to dress differently at formal religious events compared to attending a retro grunge rock concert. It has two types: the conformity and the social roles. 2. Explicit expectations are clearly and formally stated, not at all subtle. There are also two forms of explicit expectations: compliance and obedience. Here is a Venn diagram of the two types of social influence. Here is a Venn diagram of the two types of social influence. Let us understand what conformity is. Conformity is changing your behavior to be the same as the others in the group. For example, when you visit your friend's home. To show respect, you both ask for the grandmother's blessing because you were told that it is a courtesy. This situation engages you to deal with it by adapting to the shared norms and values to gain social approval rather than rejection. You were able to conform to the group standards. Kelman, 1958, distinguished between three types of conformity, including identification, internalization, and compliance. Do you want to measure your conformity level? Try answering this one. Here is for the scoring and interpretation. Compliance. It is granting a request or demand asked by another individual in exchange for either a reward or a punishment. For example, during examination day, you are required to take the test to finish completing the grading period, and failure to do so may result in a failing grade. Compliance strategies. First, foot in the door technique, which involves a person making a small initial request in order to gain compliance with another question. Once a person has complied with a request, they are more likely to agree to a later, more significant, request. For example, a car sales representative may ask a prospective customer to agree to test drive a new car. If the person agrees, they may be able to persuade them to extend their compliance by accepting a later request to buy the car. Second, door in the face technique is another compliance strategy which takes an opposite approach. An unreasonably large request is made initially, followed by the request that the subject is expected to comply with. A person will almost certainly reject the first request, but the second appears more reasonable when compared to it, and so they may be more inclined to comply with the second proposition. Obedience. It means changing your behavior to follow the demand given by an authority or an adult you have high regard for. For instance, as a maturing adolescent, you want to contribute to development by inviting other friends to exercise proper waste disposal. Whether you do it purposely as you try to give the leader your respect or purposefully as it empowers you to participate actively as a follower. Whatever your reason is for obeying, it leads to social facilitation. This happens when you are given a sense of responsibility that allows you to perform better if you are with other individuals. In the study of Milgram, 1974, he suggested that obedience to perceived authority figures can take precedence over one's own morals and that situational factors, such as the setting participants found themselves in, can influence behavior even when personality factors, e.g., moral objections, oppose it. Milgram, 1974, proposed agency theory to explain the tendency to obey authority.
Milgram, 1974, suggested that an individual may be in one of two states at any one time. First, an autonomous state is when an individual's behavior is determined by his or her own independent beliefs, and responsibility is taken for such actions. When a person regrets their actions, they experience feelings of guilt. Second, an agentic state is a person perceives another as being in a position of authority. They obey orders issued by the authority figure, acting as an agent on their behalf. Varieties or types of social influence by Herbert Kellman. Identification is when a person is influenced by someone he or she likes or looks up to, like a movie star, a social celebrity, or a superhero, and internalization is when a person is able to own a certain belief or act, and is willing to make it known publicly and privately. Conversion occurs when an individual wholeheartedly changes his or her original thinking and beliefs, actions, and attitudes to align with those of the members of the group. Minority influence happens when a bigger number of people are influenced by a much smaller number of people and when the minority's way of looking at and doing things are accepted. Reactance is when there is a willing rejection of social influence being exerted on an individual or group. Persuasion is used by one person or group to influence another to change their beliefs, actions, or attitudes by appealing to reason or emotion. We have also informational influence and normative influence. One of social psychology's simplest yet strangest experiments demonstrates the importance of group size in social contagion, the spontaneous distribution of ideas, attitudes, and behaviors among larger groups of people. When more people engage in a particular behavior, others will feel more pressure to follow along. Disturbing form of social contagion called mass psychogenic illness is a socially contagious physical symptom with no physical cause. An extreme version of this form of social contagion was the Tanganyikan laughter epidemic. The laughing epidemic suggests that a wide variety of social expectations, even laughter, can be distributed through social contagion. Given these three situations, you can choose either to conform, comply, or obey depending on how well you perceive yourself and how others see you. These are all important in personal development. Comparing your self-perception with others' perception of you has contributed to your thoughts that influence your behavior. To help you understand this more, let us apply the principle of sowing and reaping to your everyday life. One example of sowing is when you decided to cooperate with your group mates with whom you were able to share your ideas to complete the task, while reaping is when your group was able to submit and present an innovative output so your teacher and classmates can give their feedback to complement it. At the start, you benefit from the feedback you received, which eventually leads you to assert influence. Significantly, you are becoming responsible for your thoughts and behaviors as you adapt to the needs of the situations in the same manner that you have self-control that empowers you to regulate your behavior to make positive choices in life. The change in your behavior, therefore, enhances your role in becoming a follower and a leader. Both these roles involve the responsibility to serve others, which can be achieved through cooperation. Hence, a change in mindset is being mindful and sensitive to your thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. Social norms or group norms are rules that indicate how people are expected to behave in particular social situations. Herd mentality is the tendency to blindly follow the direction your group is moving toward. Suddenly you may find yourself proclaiming strange and dangerous beliefs. Let's have some more activities. Directions: shade all boxes that contain a statement reflecting your behavior. Then, ask someone from your family, or others, to rate you on these statements. Use the first quadrant of your paper to present your bar graph. Process questions. 1. Based on the data, is there any comparison that you want to give an emphasis on? 2. How can you categorize yourself? Are you a conformist, compliant, or obedient? Explain your answer. B. Directions: write comments that are both helpful and hurtful for your personal development in the Venn diagram. Categorize your answers based on the results of self-feedback and others' feedback. In the area where the two circles overlap, indicate both positive and negative comments you have received, which have influenced you to change. Use the lower portion of the third quadrant on your paper to present your data. Process questions. 1. What are the similar comments that you agree and disagree with? 2. Do you feel responsible for others' negative perception about you? In what way does it affect you? Directions: Complete the analogy with the words from the marked scatter. Fill in the blank. Directions. Complete the sentences based on your understanding of social influence in relation to important past or present life events using the timeline below. Use the fourth quadrant of your paper to present your timeline. Next, our assessment is a multiple choice. Choose the letter of the best answer. Write the chosen letter on a separate sheet of paper. 1. Which of the following is the change in one's behavior to adapt to social demands? A. Personal relationship. B. Social relationship. C. Social facilitation. D. Social influence. 2. Which of the following is the change in one's behavior to be more like the others in the group? A. Complement. B. Compliance. C. Conformity. D. Obedience. 3. Which of the following is the change in one's behavior by doing a request asked by other individuals in exchange for reward or punishment? A. Compliment. B. Complacent. C. Compliance. D. Conformity. 4. Which of the following is the change in one's behavior by following the demand given by the individuals you respect? A. Compliance. B. Conformity. C. Obedience. D. Objective. 5. Which of the following enables a person to perform better with others than working alone? A. Social facilitation. B. Social influence. C. Social change. D. Social loafing. 6. Which of the following characterizes a conforming individual? A. Accepts responsibility. B. Fears punishment. C. Gains approval. D. Likes reward. 7. Which of the following is not a characteristic of a conforming individual? A. Accepts responsibility. B. Avoids rejection. C. Accepts opinion. D. Gains approval. 8. Which of the following characterizes a compliant individual? A. Accepts responsibility. B. Respects authority. C. Accepts opinions. D. Likes reward. 9. Which of the following is not a characteristic of a compliant individual? A. Fears punishment. B. Follows request. C. Avoids rejection. D. Likes reward. 10. Which of the following characterizes an obedient individual? A. Respects authority. B. Fears punishment. C. Accepts opinion. D. Avoids rejection. 11. Which of the following is not a characteristic of an obedient individual? A. Accepts responsibility. B. Respects authority. C. Avoids rejection. D. Follows order. 12 to 15. Identify the type of social influence being described in the following situations. Write A for conformity, B for compliance, and C for obedience. 12. Sierra greets her colleague by giving a handshake. 13. Claire wears a dress that suits the dinner party at her friend's house. 14. Emmanuel is in a rush and unable to finish the test. 15. Armin does the household chores assertively. Additional activities. Now, you have your infographics. In just one look, you can compare how you perceive yourself and how others see you. To complete it, you are encouraged to write your tagline based from your learning experiences in this module at the center of the paper. Here are the key to corrections. There you have it, my dear students. We are now done with Personal Development Module 21, Social Influence. I hope you learned about how society and people influence your actions and behaviors. You may recap the video to your advantage. You may also share this with your classmates, friends, or even teachers. Our next video is Module 22, Conduct a mini survey on Filipino relationships, family, school, and community. Hope you stay tuned. Again, this is Ma'am Neri, saying thank you very much.